Yo,
What up,
Buffalo Bills
friends?
versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be, after last week, it was supposed to be the MVP versus MVP best game, and it turned out to be a really good game. Started off a little slow, but this should be another one of those games where we see two. Obviously, Mahomes is not in the MVP race, but two really good quarterbacks, two really good teams meeting again. And let's be honest, this has been one of the best rivalries of this decade. They have met four times in the last 5 years in the playoffs, and I know we will talk a lot about that. But this is, really going to come down to the quarterbacks in this game. It's going to come down to what kind of offense can these quarterbacks facilitate in order to be able to use the pieces that they have, which outside of James Cook and how high you want to put Amari Cooper on a receiver, you know, uh, depth chart, he's definitely a number one in my eyes. But outside of those two players, the Bills, even the Chiefs, and shout out Pacheco, he's Puerto Rican. I love my Boricua familia, but they got a bunch of secondary playmakers, if we're to be completely honest. And Mar, you can argue with me on that, but I'm sure that you've known with all the receiving woes that y'all have had the past few years, that would be correct. Now, uh, obviously, this game is going to have all eyes on it. There's a lot of questions about the refs and how they've treated Patrick Mahomes, so we'll talk about that as well. I know, Mar, I saw you on the last stream, so we'll definitely get your opinion on that. But even though the Chiefs have been dominating in the playoffs, the Bills have won the last four regular season matchups, including earlier this season, and all of these games have been really tight heading into the fourth quarter. So we will start first with our Kansas City Chiefs insider, Wildcard Mar. How do you feel about how the Chiefs have progressed this season, especially with all the ups and downs, all the injuries, and all the talk of black magic?
Well, I mean, uh, I'll save the elephant in the room for last, so I'll let everybody marinate on that one. But honestly, this team to me has a weird almost repeat of last year, where your offense is has some ups and downs, roller coaster season, but one thing that stayed for the most part consistent is your defense, and that's one thing that I'm glad that is still something that you know still be something that is can still be relied on. Um, but with the ups and downs of the offense of certain players in and out of the lineup, and some issues at left tackle, and then obviously taking Joe Tooney out there, who's I paid a lot of money for him to play left guard, so I would love for him to be at left guard, but you got to do what you got to do to make sure you protect the investment that is Patrick Mahomes. So, but I will say, ever since making that move, that I can give some props to Andy Reid of making that decision. The offense has looked somewhat better, and obviously has moved the ball a little bit better. They still some of the things that concern me with the offense is they can kind of sputter in the red zone. Obviously, you saw was given great field position at the start of the game against the Texans, and then pretty much went 3 and out, and had to settle for a field goal. You can't settle for field goals against Buffalo. Got to put it in the end zone. And that's the thing that kind of concerns me right there is them getting to the finish line but not crossing it, and keep settling for field goals. I like Harrison Butker. He's pretty accurate. Historically, he's up there with some of the greats. But you know what? I like it when you sitting your little bum ass down on the bench. I like it when you're doing that, or you're kicking extra points. That's the best time I like is when you're kicking extra points and making them. Yeah, look, it's going to be a close knockout, drag out fight like it's always been every time that they meet up whether it's regular season or postseason. So it's gonna get real tight.
Yeah, and so I mean, we all think, and most of the experts think, and the lines and the betting lines all think that this is going to be a close game, that it will come down to the end. So let's look at a couple of best topics here that we need to think of. So first of all, looking at this, and we'll get, like you said, to the officials last. I want to save that for last. Let's talk about the real concrete stuff that we can actually, the tangible statistics.
Mhm.
So the Bills ran all over the top two rushing defenses so far in the playoffs. In the regular season, the Broncos had the highest defensive success rate against the run, and the Ravens were second. The Bills ran for 362 yards, almost 5 yards a carry. The offensive line have been plowing all over. Now, the Chiefs are 14th in defensive rushing success rate. They did limit the Bills' run game in Week 11 to only 2.6 rushing yards per carry. Moving over to you real quick, CoolMcCain. How do you foresee the two running games? The Bills having James Cook, obviously Josh Allen runs the ball a lot close to the goal line. They took y'all's move, the tush push, and made it kind of their own. But they also lack, explosive receiving weapons. So how do you put that up against what the Chiefs can do defensively?
So I say the run game is definitely going to be leaned on by Buffalo. They're going to need to do that. Buffalo does something real well that the Eagles don't do, and that's play action. They do allow play action, and they do say, I will fake a run, and we'll throw someone down to Shakir or Amari Cooper, one of those other gentlemen that they have on that team. Keon Coleman, I believe, is one of their wide receivers, if I remember correctly. So they have a lot of guys that they'll, make things happen with. They don't have one guy, but there is a benefit to that when you have a guy like Josh Allen as quarterback, someone who's a lot of people will talk about for MVP. He's able to spread the ball around. So, if you put your top corner on Khalil Shakir, we just won't throw him the ball right there. We'll throw the other guys, right? It's not that one specific guy to take away. And I think that actually works better for Josh Allen than having Stephon Diggs, who was like a number one and wanted the ball, and you're trying to make sure that he's happy, he gets what he needs. So I think this can work out well for Buffalo because they'll pick their spots. They'll do what makes sense. Josh Allen has shown over the years, he'll throw interceptions for most years. He hasn't done that bad this year, but he's shown a propensity to make the right read a lot more than the wrong read. A couple of wrong reads, throw some interceptions, you get some bad plays, that can hurt your team. That's happened in the past, but he's kind of cleaned that up, but he's still making good reads. And that's very important for a quarterback to be able to say what's open. I'm at the line. I'm at a point in my career now where I can kind of say, hey, Blueberry 77, right? Make those changes at the line when you see what the other team's giving you. I think that's an advantage that they'll have. But the Kansas City Chiefs defense is not scrubs by any means.
Right.
By any means. I mean, I'm a Chiefs hater, but I still can be honest, right? Just because I hate them doesn't mean I don't have to be honest. They get a lot of pressure on you. They allow the secondary and the linebacking core to be able to play the style that works best for them by the pressure that they get, right? Pressure is important. Any team you put pressure on another team, you have an opportunity to make them make mistakes. Mistakes cause you to lose games. I'll go ahead and pick the game. I'm going to say Kansas City is going to win the game. Know that there'll be a couple of times where they'll get one of those calls where everybody else will kind of be like, but call.
All right. Well, before we get into that, which we will in just a second, Shane, I want to touch on something cool. Teams typically, when playing against Josh Allen and the Bills, play cover two when going with zone against Allen. He's been excellent at reading coverage rotations, taking what the defense gives him. But the best answer against Josh Allen and the Bills is to play two deep match coverages like cover 4 and cover 6. But it's hard to play this against the Bills because of their gap scheme running game. So tell me more about how the Kansas City defense can contain Josh Allen, especially in short yardage situations.
they just got to stay in their lanes, man. You can't let him run. The thing I worry about Josh Allen is, like you said, he's been taking everything defense has given him this year. They had the good running game going. I get scared with this pressure of playing the Chiefs in the playoffs that he's going to try to be Superman again. No, play your offense like you have been all year long. Do not be Superman against these guys. And I know that pressure is there because I'm going to use a wrestling term here. Those regular season games, that's a house show. Getting ready for WrestleMania.
Let's go.
Right. You're playing Mahomes at WrestleMania right now, guys. You can't make mistakes or he's going to eat you alive and he's going to finish the story once again.
I mean, that's tremendous because we are all wrestling fans, so that made complete sense to all of us. So but let's be right about this. Buffalo also did not have linebacker Matt Milano last time and some other key pieces on the defense. So they were able to pressure, and 4 pressures actually from Matt Milano on Lamar Jackson last week. So while usually blitzing Mahomes is a bad idea, he was also banged up a couple weeks ago. So Mar, tell us more about if he is still banged up, how much that is going to affect him, especially if Buffalo does try to blitz or does decide to blitz against Mahomes. And also I want to know about Hollywood Brown and how he has helped the offense since he came back.
Yeah. To be honest, the Chiefs as a whole is probably damn near healthy. I mean, we got to remember they had 20 plus days off from the last piece of action from Christmas to playing Houston last week. Did it play? Did that play into a little bit of the performance? Might be a little bit of rust. I mean, we all play sports. If you don't do nothing on that type of level for a certain period of time, there's going to be a little bit of rust. But regardless, this team is actually primarily healthy. The only one that's really hurt and won't probably see any more playoff time is McCole Hardman. But they're okay at wide receiver depth, so that's not the issue. But this team is healthy, man. That rest, and you got to remember they were coming off that playing 3 games in 11 days, which is suicidal, but they don't give a damn because it's all about the money, right? But that's another topic, another story. We'll have that conversation later. But regardless, here we are back to this point in time. That when it helps with all these guys. We got to remember this is their 7th consecutive championship weekend.
Yes, it is.
We got to remember that's a lot of football being played into the calendar year. Bodies getting beat up. They had an early bye week this year at week 6, so that 25 days all did them justice. I actually like the fact that they're coming in more healthier than the Buffalo Bills, who are having injuries to key people. Now, obviously, it's championship game. You're going to play, but still, are you at your best when you're hurt? But the Chiefs are looking good in this point. So I think that plays a little bit of factor in this. But Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy, I'm going to throw Xavier Worthy in there with you, just to really answer this question is because now, stats wise, they're not blowing nobody out of the chair like, oh my gosh, they're being so productive. No, the stats aren't there. Let's just be honest, all right. But it's the knowing how the nuances of the offense that is starting to come together. And guess where is that coming from? Ding, ding, ding. He may not be productive in the stat sheet, but he's still a very good wide receiver mentally. It's called DeAndre Hopkins. That helps a lot.
Hopkins.
All right.
Hopkins is literally why would you not want to learn from DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, you're talking about when he hangs it up, and you get him fitted for the golden jacket. Go ahead, get him fitted. So, look, as much as Hollywood and Xavier are developing, and the stats will come, and obviously with Xavier, his stats look better because he's been healthy and he's been in the offense pretty much all year. And Hollywood is still grasping some of the offense still in the actual play of the game. Practice is one thing. We're talking about on field and he wasn't there at the last matchup, so he's added into this. Pacheco wasn't there in the last matchup, so as you talked about some of the Bills players that weren't there in the first matchup, there's players from the Chiefs that weren't there that are in this matchup too. Our second best corner, Jalen Watson, wasn't there. He's back. Had a great game last week against Houston. Trent McDuffie had a Pro Bowl season. I think he got snubbed, but he some reason how you don't get Pro Bowl, but you get All Pro. I don't know how that works, but hey, what the I know? What do I know? But anyway, so he's playing phenomenal. So we got both sides, and you know the defense is like I said, it's been the anchor. So I'm looking at the defense to really carry this game. I really don't need Patrick to go crazy. I just need him to make the right throws when it matters, and hopefully Hollywood Brown can be at one of the receiving ends of one of those plays. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and to go back to wrestling real quick, you're talking about DeAndre Hopkins. Those other receivers better become the big redwood and get under the learning tree. Hi guys. Hi guys. Anyways, all right, let's keep it moving. So let's get a couple thoughts here on some trending topics, and then we'll get the scores. Cool already gave us his, and then we'll get out of here because speaking of wrestling, Saturday Night Main Event is on right now. So a couple things we want to talk about, though. We do have to talk about the Chiefs and the play calls. So everyone is saying that Mahomes is getting the Brady treatment, opposing players, including, Marlon Humphreys from the Raiders, even Troy Aikman, the, great NFL analyst, has called it out and said that he barely gets hit when these things happen and they need to address it in the offseason. Brady even addressed it earlier, and him being the recipient of a lot of good calls was not going to say anything about it. But anyway, look, I'm a hater too. I don't like the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs with all my heart as a Raiders fan.
But I'm just saying, of all people that should know when to shut the hell up about a certain topic, like it would be you, Tom. Like, come on, bro. Like you, some of the Marines on. Never mind. Yeah.
Hey, Tom Shady,
Tuck rule.
Tom Shady, Bill Belichick, and the whole New England scam franchise only won those Super Bowls because they cheated. That being said, let me get off my high horse. So what do you think about, please address these rumors. I know you don't like these rumors, Mark. Address these rumors about how you feel about them getting the calls, and then we'll go around the horn with that same question.
No, I'll just keep it to I try to keep it to 30 seconds or less. Look, fact of the matter is like at the end of the day, I know people want to say it's the Chiefs and the refs and in cahoots, but at the end of the day, are there some plays that Mahomes going to get the benefit of the in the Brady treatment? Well, yeah. Well, Tom Brady's no longer in the league. Somebody has to get that GOAT treatment.
Wait,
who are you going to give it to? You're going to give it to Jalen Hurts? What is he proving to get that? You're going to give it to Jayden Daniels? Eventually, he'll start getting his because he's kind of starting to show that he can prove it. But he's not going to get those calls yet. He'll start maybe in the future. Josh Allen, he'll get some calls. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to get some calls. Look, you get some benefit of the calls. When didn't Jordan get benefit of calls? LeBron gets benefit of the calls. Kobe got benefit of the calls.
They are saying he's flopping like LeBron.
Hey, look, I don't like it neither. I'm not. Hey, y'all know I keep it real. I don't like it, but hey, you try to find advantages in the game as long as you're not going to a New England type level when you want to cheat like that. I mean, it's all within a certain rules of lines. I mean, they all try it. I mean, there's a whole compilation of Josh Allen flopping like a LeBron. I mean, come on, man. That's just what they do now. I mean, it's a new generation. I mean, I grew up on knuckle up type of football where quarterback stood in the pocket and just knew they was about to get wrecked and delivered a strike. So I mean, it's just part of the game now. I just think that's just what it is, which I think plays a part into one of my keys to the victories for the Chiefs. I think it's running the football, and I'm gonna give you three components, and of least important to important. And I hate to say it, Isaiah Pacheco is the least important. He's number 3.
okay.
I know he had the injury. But for some reason, since he's been back, I feel like his vision's kind of been off. It's just not there. I'm about tired of looking at him rush the football, miss the hole, and run into the backside of my guard and tackles. I'm about tired of looking at it. All right. If you want pink eye and run into some butt, you got other times and other places to do that, but not on the football field. All right, sir. All right, let's take that somewhere else, but not on the football field. Second is Kareem Hunt. I think he's looked a lot cleaner, crisper, and found the holes a lot better than Isaiah Pacheco. He just looks a lot better. And number 1 is Patrick Mahomes. He takes advantage of the rules of them protecting the quarterbacks. And this is my point where you can't get mad at the Chiefs, be mad at the establishment. I mean, if you're gonna let me do it and there's nothing against it, you may not like it. What you want me to do? I want more championships. Why would I not?
And do you not think about the Chiefs winning 16 consecutive wins have been by 1 score? Don't you think that at some point that's going to hurt them?
Hey, you know the common denominator, all that
Wins.
What we talking about?
Okay, all right.
It doesn't need to be by 1,000. Doesn't need to be by a half a point, which is not possible. But I'm pretty sure they'll find a way to cook it up that you can win by half a point. Is what do you want? It's a win's a win.
Okay.
Dubs.
So then, what's your score for this win? Since we know you're not going to pick the Bills.
No, 27-24. This is going to be a close game. It's going to be about turnovers. And who can run the ball better. If I said this to the wifey the other day, I think if the Chiefs have 2 turnovers, you might as well go ahead and everybody go ahead and pack the hate mail and go ahead and hit send. Go ahead and be ready, and Buffalo can rejoice. But I think if it's a clean game for both sides, I'm still rocking with the Chiefs, 27-24.
And with Josh Allen, that's very possible to turn the ball over. Shane, go ahead and answer my question. What do you think about those calls? Is he getting favorable calls? Are the refs helping to the Chiefs win these games? And also give us your prediction.
I think it's a little bit overblown, and here's why. The Chiefs are on national TV almost every week, so the whole world sees them. I think it's kind of like Chiefs fatigue. So every time you see a bad call, people get mad about it. But yes. I see horrendous calls every week in every game. Look at the Washington Lions game last week, that fake mask. I call it the fake mask. There was no face mask grab. It kept the Lions going. They scored. They were only down 3. It should have been 3-and-out punt. But, yeah, I think it's overblown a little bit. I mean, of course, the superstars get calls too. If you hit them above the head, even if you barely touch them, they're going to call it. It's going to be all day long.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's like professional wrestling, man. People got Chiefs fatigue, so they turned heel. They were the fun, happy team that everybody loved a few years ago. Now everybody hates them.
Oh,
they're like the New Day. They're like the New Day turning on Big E.
Whoa! Don't go that far. That's storyline Dookie right now. Don't do that. Not just my team comparing them to this lousy New Day story. Don't do that.
And I'm gonna be a heel to the Buffalo fans. 34-14 blowout.
Woo!
I feel it, guys, man. I really believe what I said earlier that Josh Allen's going to try to be Superman. He's going to turn the ball over, and it's going to be a dagger.
Ooh.
Hey, cool. I don't think you actually gave us a score earlier, so give us your score, and I also want you to answer the question, especially with all that Chiefs hate you have. Are the refs helping the Chiefs win?
So I'll give you the score. I'm going to go 27-21.
Okay.
As far as the Chiefs, because as far as these capillations that I've been hearing, high level capillations that the Chiefs are not getting calls more than anybody else, or he's a superstar, so he should get calls. We didn't ask about Patrick Mahomes. See, as other Chiefs fans I know, Mr. Wildcard decided to make this a Patrick Mahomes gets calls because he's a superstar. That's true. Other superstars do.
He admitted it.
Patrick Mahomes doesn't play defense. Patrick Mahomes doesn't hold people and it doesn't get called. Those are not calls that are happening for Patrick Mahomes directly. Now, here's the thing. The Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls in a row against the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. Mr. Wildcard, how many holding penalties were called on the offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs in those 2 games? Now, in the regular season.
Wow, just didn't even let him answer.
Where do you rank?
0.
Okay.
Where do you rank in the regular season the last 2 years in holding penalties?
I couldn't even honestly tell you.
Very, very high, meaning you have a lot of them. So all of a sudden, you expect me to believe that a Kansas City Chiefs line that holds like no other decides to get a Super Bowl and now they don't hold. But there's no favoritism toward not just Patrick Mahomes, but the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole.
I mean, hey, it's because we use that 2 weeks of practice wisely.
This is the problem,
right?
Chiefs fans want to turn this and curtail it to try to make you look at only what happens to Patty Mayo himself. That's not the whole of it.
Patty Mayo.
The defense gets to hold people. If the other team does the same thing, it's a call. You know what I'm saying? That's not acceptable, right?
Did he just throw out a Doug reference? Are we kidding? I love it.
I loved it. I absolutely
and
love
the thing is, and I'm not a person that's like, oh, down with the Chiefs because of it, but I'm gonna hate on you because they're not doing it for my team. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
We got to go out here and play against the team that everybody wants to win because they give them everything all the time. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that every game, every play, they don't give them that, right? They allow the game to play at certain times when they're already up, when it's early, and they know they're gonna help them out later. But let's be 100% honest with ourselves. To say that the Chiefs as a team does not get preferential treatment on calls, I can accept nothing but the fact that that's capitulations. Chiefs fans know it. They're not going to admit to it, and I don't blame them. I would not admit to it either, but it does happen, and the rest of us see it. I saw it before everybody else because I had LASIK surgery, so I can see through the mist faster than everybody else. But everybody's starting to catch up now. That's what it is.
I agree with that, and I agree with what Shane said as well. First of all, when you see teams so many times, and you have that hate for them, like when you saw LeBron winning all the time, or the MVP conversation where people can't win so many in a row because of fatigue, things like that. You're going to see that. Also, as Mar admitted, and as Cool just pointed out, he's getting some calls, whether it be consciously or subconsciously by the officials. It's happening. Let me give you a stat. This is from Michael Salfino. He explored the penalty advantage from 22 to 2024 for the Chiefs. The Chiefs' playoff opponents, have lost 20.4 more yards per game than an average non-Chiefs opponent in the playoffs. So his ability to draw flags, he draws an average of 1 roughing call in each of the last 5 playoff games. So is it happening consciously? Maybe not, but it's happening. He's getting the Brady treatment, and we have to admit that. Now, again, I think like what we need to go off of is what Cool said as well, that it just because it's happening doesn't mean that it's happening all the time. There are a lot of reasons that the refs just suck ass in every single sport. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. It don't matter what soccer. It don't matter what sport you watch. The officials are straight ass, straight booty juice, straight garbage, basura. And I've said that we need to train these. First of all, NFL should not have part-time refs. These people should be full-time refs that get a full-time paycheck. They should not have to go be a damn high school janitor on the weekend, coming out, calling a flag on Patrick Mahomes, making the whole world mad, betting all this money on these playoff games. So that's the first thing.
Well, Omar, I also want to know this.
That's fair too.
When they call in from upstairs to change a call real quick, how come we don't know when they're allowed to do that? because sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't. And that's another confusing thing about the whole issue with the refs.
Yeah, more transparency, and the fact that if they are calling in from New York to give the correct call to the play, why do sometimes they still get it wrong? You got 2 minutes to look at the damn video. You still get it wrong? How? Clubber D says that they drive extending calls are the dagger. And yeah, that did happen a couple times. And we remember it happened to Brady all the time. So, but again, I just think it's more to do with the refs being horrible. There is, again, some sort of validity to a star quarterback or a star player getting called, just like LeBron or anyone else. And when you have my baby Tay-Tay watching from, we got to mention Taylor Swift for the algorithm. When you got her sitting up in the press box, black magic will happen. The Swifties are putting voodoo dolls all up in James Cook and Josh Allen at home. I'm just saying. Look, I'm a Swiftie myself. I know how deep the black magic in that cult.
That's hilarious.
I mean, group of fans. I'm sorry. So, anyways, as Mahomes chases a three-peat this weekend in his 20th postseason game, not gonna happen. Y'all pick the Chiefs. I'm going with the upset. The Buffalo Bills will win this game, and it's not just my Chiefs hate. 28. I see you smiling, Lamar. 28-21. Buffalo Bills exact playoff revenge. Beat the Chiefs, and because I am such a storyline master, the Bills and the Redskins meet in a rematch of the '92 Super Bowl. I just called them the Skins. My bad. I'm from the DMV. I can't stop calling them that. It's just a habit. The Commanders. 28-21. I'm calling 2 upsets this weekend.